creating an interactive .science podcast using .lesson slides with Google Notebook.
Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're going to be looking at water and how it changes states.
Oh, right.
And we've got these cool PowerPoint slides to help us out.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, these slides are from a high school science class or something like that.
Okay.
So if you're thinking about giving a presentation anytime soon or just brushing up on some basic chemistry, this is going to be a good one for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the basics are always
Oh, hey there. How can we help?
Hi, I'm joining in with your discussion.
Hey there. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us.
Yeah, we're stoked you decided to join in. We love when our listeners chime in.
We're just getting started diving into the states of water, so you haven't missed a thing.
Okay, let's jump back into it then. So we were just about to talk about the 3 states of matter.
Right, and how water is one of the few substances that can exist as a solid, liquid, and gas.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And it's what we're going to break down first.
What's fascinating here is that it all boils down. Right, and if you add even more heat, those molecules get so much energy that they break free.
And that's when the liquid boils and turns into steam or water vapor.
It's like they've got...
Oh, go for it.
Where does this heat come from that causes the change of state?
That's a great question, and it's at the heart of what we're discussing.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So where does we heat come from?
Well, it really depends on the situation. Generally, it comes from the surroundings.
So like if you leave ice out in a room.
Exactly. The warmer air in the room transfers heat to the ice.
And that's what makes it melt.
Precisely. And the same is true for boiling water on a stove.
The fire provides the heat, which makes the water boil and turn into steam.
What's fascinating here is that the heat is energy being transferred.
And that energy is what makes the molecules move faster, right?
Yes, that increased movement changes the state of the water.
Okay, so the heat can come from a bunch of different places.
Exactly. The important thing to remember is that heat is a form of energy transfer.
Okay, let's unpack this. So when water goes the other way, like freezing.
Then the water's losing heat to its surroundings.
Exactly. The same temperature, but going the other way, from liquid to solid.
Now, the liquid...
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, can you elaborate more on the temperatures where melting and freezing takes place?
Absolutely. That's a crucial point. Let's zoom in on those temperatures.
Yeah, let's dig into that a little more for you.
So as we've said, water freezes and melts at 0 degrees Celsius.
Which is also 32 degrees Fahrenheit for our listeners in the U.S.
Exactly. And that's a very specific point, a kind of tipping point for water.
Okay, like a threshold that changes water's state of matter.
Absolutely. Melting is a super interesting process, and it's good to dive a little deeper on that.
Yeah, let's unpack this melting thing.
So we touched on it briefly earlier, but melting is when a solid turns into a liquid.
Right, and for water, this happens at 0 degrees Celsius, or 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Exactly. This temperature is what's known as the melting point of ice.
So if you take ice out of a freezer, it's going to start melting because the room temperature is higher than that.
Precisely. And it's important to remember that what we see as steam is actually tiny water droplets, not the invisible water vapor.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that earlier. So the water vapor itself is invisible.
Right. Now, what's also interesting is the temperature for boiling, which is much higher.
Yeah, we said that it's 100 degrees Celsius or 212 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's what...
Hey, yeah, what's up?
What about condensation? Can you elaborate more? How does it come into the 3 states of water?
That's a fantastic question, and it really ties all the states together.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Let's unpack condensation a bit more.
So we've been talking about water turning into a gas. That's evaporation or boiling.
Right, like steam or water vapor.
Well, condensation is the opposite process, is when that water vapor turns back into liquid water.
Okay, so it's going from a gas back to a liquid.
Exactly. And it's a really important step in the water cycle.
And it's all about losing heat, right?
Yes, it occurs when water vapor loses heat and its molecules slow down.
So like when warm, moist air comes into contact with a cold surface.
Exactly. Think about a cold glass of water on a warm day.
Yeah, you get those water droplets forming on the outside of the glass.
That's condensation. The water vapor in the air loses heat.
And it turns back into liquid water on the glass.
Precisely. And it's a good example of how the 3 states of water are all connected.
So you can go from liquid to gas and then back to liquid through condensation.
Yes.
Yep, go on.
Okay guys, thanks for the talk. I need to leave now. See you soon.
Okay, well, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, it was great having you here with us.
We're glad you got to hear about the states of water and the water cycle.
We covered a lot of ground. I hope you learned something new.
Yeah, we talked about melting, freezing, boiling, and condensation.
And how those state changes are all about adding or removing heat.